that
Oh
was
my god.
something, dog. That was something. Yeah, that was. I
Wow.
couldn't even enjoy the helicopter killing things because it was just, and doing like the fancy stuff. Because I was like, this is so dark and weird, and everything that was wrong with the alien.
It's just
Woo!
it's not not an episode of television I want to experience again. Guys, we're gonna jump right into season 2, episode 4. The truth about Holly Matthews. I mean, the truth about Hollywood. John, take it away.
Hey, yeah, this was a bit of a doozy. So hey, listen, the episode opens up, and we got the Airwolf team, Dom and Hawk, were infiltrating a mansion in Mexico, owned by Aaron's, to save Dom's niece, Holly Matthews, the titular character. They're successful. They get away. It's a heavily paramilitary armed place, but they have Airwolf. They get away. It's great. They save Holly. We get back. The cops don't like her boyfriend, Aaron's. They don't like him. They want to get him, but they don't have the evidence. Great news. Next scene. Caitlin's back. She wants a job from Dom. She seems to have left her job due to some frustrations with the system, and now she wants to be a pilot for Dom. Dom sort of tentatively gives her a probational job for a time. Now we have a wonderful set piece where Caitlin has her first job for Dom. She's going for a flight, but her helicopter's been sabotaged. She manages to save the day. She lands. It's okay. The movie director loves it to pieces, right? And throughout this, we're having scenes with Holly, performed by Barbara Howard. And we're seeing signs, right? We're seeing signs of jealousy, just sort of irrational behavior, inconsistent behavior. We're planting the seeds, right? We have another helicopter sabotage where a helicopter blows up. Caitlin saves Dom, gets him to jump out just in the nick of time. Yay! We're being led to believe, because there are two toughies who work for Aaron's hanging around, that this is actually Aaron's doing this stuff. But is it? We're not sure. We move forward. Finally, we have the big meeting with Aaron's himself to talk about Holly. Holly's not happy about this meeting, and she goes for a flight with Caitlin to go say goodbye to Hawk, because she's going to leave. Because at this point, according to Holly, they've made love, her and Hawk, and Hawk wants to marry her. Interesting.
Can't be, though. Can't be.
It cannot be. She'd be dead already. Aaron's meeting with the boys, right? And here we get the big surprise reveal. He doesn't want Holly back. He just wanted his code book because he's a criminal. And he already got his book back. He stole it from them at the movie. So they're good. Keep her away from me. She's scary. We get a Dom punch out because the guy deserved it, whatever. And now we go back. Now we go to the climax of this episode. And Holly pulls a gun on Caitlin flying the helicopter and forces her into a military airspace that's been previously mentioned as they will shoot you down if you go there. Right. Sort of committing a murder-suicide via military. Thankfully, Airwolf arrives in the nick of time, plays defense against some jets. Holly is able to, Caitlin is eventually able to overpower Holly, get the pistol from her, retain control of the helicopter, and they fly away. We get to the last scene, and we are seeing sort of a lovingly sweet goodbye, tender goodbye to Holly, who's going on vacation with Doc. So, she's going away for some time. And then we get what I thought was a genuinely warm, final little, coda on the episode where Dom says that Caitlin's hired, and they all have a big, family hug.
Yep, that about does it, John.
There was a beautiful moment of chemistry between Hawk and Caitlin during the movie set thing where they were forced to kiss, which made no sense, but they were forced to kiss, and so that was interesting and set off some of Holly's jealousy, just to highlight that one moment.
Yeah, what was that kiss? What was that supposed to be? Because 2 minutes earlier or 30 seconds earlier, Dom was like, "You know what? I'm gonna do the scene," right?
Yeah, I mean, the director's logic was
then they're like,
the actors are leaving, but then you would just use the actor's kiss. Why would you use the stunt double's kiss?
It made like it was really weird. It was really really weird. It's like what is going on in this movie set? And the director guy
He
was like,
was,
oh,
he
that's
was,
great. Oh,
yeah,
you know,
he was
yeah.
interesting.
I don't know what that kiss was. That it was very manufactured. The
Yeah,
thing is,
very much so.
it's like what we're not even sure she has the job at this point. So
No.
they show up and she's like, "Well, I want to do it." Dom's like, "No, no, I'm gonna do it." And the director is like, "I need you guys to make out."
Okay, but let's stay on target here a little bit. Let's get through this. Paul,
Okay,
our tradition now is to move on to our three big things. Why don't you? I did the summary, so why don't you lead us off?
John, I don't have three big things. I just have I have one gigantic thing to talk about, which is essentially the whole episode. Oh man. Oh.
Paul, would you like to do a little behind the scenes and reveal the text that I sent to you this morning when
Oh,
when
let's
I
see. What?
completed
Yeah,
my
John, you said woof. That was something. I'm adding emphasis because you might have said woof. You might have said
no
woof. That is something.
no you no, Paul, wonderful reading,
Woof.
exactly as I would have directed it.
Well, you know, I'm a SAG actor, so
I know.
I can do that. And
Yeah,
I thought that I saw strangely, John. I thought the same thing.
yeah. Strangely, mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
It was. Listen, there was Hand That Rocks the Cradle, right?
Mm.
Single white female, fatal attraction. There was this sort of sociopathically obsessed female killer archetype that existed.
John, I live in Western Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and here in the school district here, there have been numerous bomb threats
Oh my God.
in the last week or two. And what's happened is there was a group of folks who wanted to ban a particular book from the schools and the libraries,
Mm-hmm.
and that ban was struck down in
Okay.
vote in the Board of Education. And
Democratically,
then
it sounds like. Yeah. Okay.
and the folks who were arguing for the book ban are believed to be behind these bomb threats now. But the book in question is Fun Home.
I don't know of Fun Home. What is Fun Home about?
Fun Home is a book, and then later turned into a musical that was quite successful on Broadway
Hmm.
by a person named Alison Bechdel.
Of the Bechdel test?
And Alison Bechdel is noted for developing something called the Bechdel test. John, how does this episode score on the Bechdel test?
I believe a major requirement of that is that conversations happen between two named females that do not involve a man, and I don't.
Aren't about a man, right?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it makes it.
It doesn't quite hit the mark.
Let me take a moment here to really pick at a moment in this episode that I had trouble with, which was
I know where you're going, John. I know. Can I guess?
yes, please do, please.
What did he think was gonna happen?
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, right? Like, I hate Easter. I'm sorry, I shouldn't take his name in vain, but like, he takes this girl up to the hawk's nest, and like,
I know.
and treats her more like a girlfriend than he did Gabby when he met her. Like, they're laying in front of the fire, drinking. Like, there's no space between them. There's body contact. And then when he goes outside with her, he's like, "Well, I didn't mean to lead you on." It's like, why'd you have a romantic like rendezvous? What's wrong with you, dude?
What are you doing? He says, what does he say to her? He says, don't put me on the spot like that.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot like that.
She leans in, she starts making out with him, and then he's like, oh, don't put me on the spot like that. You put yourself in this spot.
Very, very much so. Very much so. Yes. Like
he wasn't like dancing around it. He didn't like take her up to the cabin and be like, okay, here's your room, you know, you could stay there, it'll be safe here, you'll be fine. I'm gonna make some steaks and we'll have dinner or whatever. Make yourself at home. It was let's cozy up in front of the fire with a glass of wine. She had time to do her hair. Did you notice her hair was all like done up? She like went for a blowout in the meantime or something. You know? Like what was he
Oh my
thinking?
god, yeah, dude, it was tough when he went out. It was gaslighting. No, I just feel like if we look at this through a modern lens, we would see a lot of gaslighting. We would see a lot of of the audience, like Hawk's behavior. Dom's behavior is very enabling of like the scene you were talking about before I interrupted, where she's like, "Woo!" Like I'm gonna go shopping after being rescued from the murder. Like she's just in a cool mood, having a good time, and Dom is going right along with it. Like he's just like, yeah, this makes sense. This is normal behavior.
Right. Right.
It's like what?
Because that moment like stuck out to me because it was like she just got rescued.
Yeah.
She was just a prisoner and she's like dancing around like what exactly is happening here?
And then you
Why
bring
is she in
Caitlyn
such a
in,
good mood?
and Caitlyn, and of course because of the weird misogyny women dynamic, she's the one picking up on it, but is afraid to tell anyone because she has a tenuous position on the team. It was too bad because honestly, I think Barbara Howard's a good performer. I think Jean Bruce Scott was charming I thought she was by far the highlight of the episode. Um, as Caitlyn, and it was wasted. They did what they could with the stuff they had, but it was mostly ridiculous. So it's a
Yeah,
tough ask.
it kind of felt like they wrote like the first 3, 4 scenes, and then they were like, "Ah, let's change this to a femme fatale story," and then like changed it to a femme fatale story, and then it was like, it's like, what are we doing? Like we got to work a way. We gotta have a way to create conflict between these two female characters so we could have a scene. So let's make them both after Hawk.
Yeah,
It just like,
and
but
that's long been an issue in writing in TV and movies. It's like if we have two female characters, they have to be in conflict. It's just it's been an issue for a long time. It's
and
nothing new.
it's like, why was Dom so mean to everybody in this episode?
And stupid. Why was he so naive? And he didn't we had this really moving episode, the one before, where he's dealing with this alcoholic and gaining
Right.
wisdom. And now he can't see that his niece is a loony toony. And I'm not. Listen, I'm one of the most serious people on mental health. I suffer
But
from
but he
depression,
but
but
he
she
wouldn't
was Looney Tunes. She
but
was.
he wouldn't see it,
Yeah.
John. He wouldn't see it. It's like because we don't see it. It's like none of it is justified or makes any sense.
And
It's
that's the
like,
problem. It's not motivated, right? Why didn't her grandmother warn Dom? Her grandmother doesn't know that she's delusional and maybe a bit of a con artist. She didn't say, "Yo, Dom, man, maybe don't buy her a bunch of stuff and
and then they give her the Blanche Dubois treatment at the end where they send her off with the
with the doc."
yeah. It's like I almost expected someone to pull up a syringe in the limo and be like,
Yeah,
we're gonna escort you now. But
she's going to
yeah,
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's uh, and this guy, they meet this guy Aaron's, and he's like, yeah, I just wanted the book. Let's part as friends. Again, this is another one of these
Let's part
unnecessary
as friends.
scenes. It's another one of these unnecessary scenes because nothing gets resolved or even
Yeah. It's
we
just to
we
confirm that Holly's a lunatic, but we didn't need that because she pulls a gun out on Caitlyn. So it's
and if what he says is true, right? He already got his book back.
yeah.
Why would he bother to call Dom and be like, let's meet?
I
Why would he bother?
think the reasoning they gave was basically he didn't want Airwolf showing up and shooting his stuff up anymore. So he's like, "Hey guys, leave me alone. I'll leave you alone if you leave me alone." I think that was sort of the idea. I don't think it was well communicated, but I think that was the idea.
But so like then why are they like holding her against her will and like shooting machine guns when she's trying to
Was
leave?
she? We have to doubt all of that right now. It's a narrator issue, right? Well, he wanted his
And
book
then
back, but he
and
couldn't
then
get the book. It was in her purse. Yeah,
yeah, it was
dude.
yeah. And Dom is like he's like let's shake on it, and Dom like socks him in the jaw, and the dudes his like his like heavies are there, and they like reach into their shirt as if to like pull out a gun, but then they freeze there like frozen for
Yeah,
some
because Hawk
reason.
looks at him. Because Hawk's magic.
Well,
Um,
yeah, right. That's right.
I would like to highlight what Dom says because I liked this actually because he says He punches him, and then he says, "That is for saying you would have dumped her in the street." So he's clarifying, like, yeah, she's a Looney Tune, and you weren't as bad as I thought, and I probably shouldn't have shot your shit up, but you said you would have dumped her in the street, so I'm gonna deck you.
You're right. Now it all makes sense.
I'm glad.
Thanks.
I'm glad. You're welcome, Paul. You are welcome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. And then we got the F-14s, and we got
that part was cool. That part was cool. Airwolf playing some defense. Now, I'm a little worried about these F-14 pilots, Paul, because I feel like they should have been able to fly up on like Santini Air helicopter and been like, I don't think this is a serious threat.
Right, but they got the directive from the guy on the phone that was like,
shoot to kill.
Guys, shoot to kill.
Yeah. Well, that was because the Airwolf showed up on their thing, and it's a super helicopter.
And the guy's like, this lady just doesn't want to listen, and goes, what if it's not just a lady? Yeah. And then it's like, dun dun dun. Like serious, oh, what if it's not just a lady? Like, what are they implying?
They're implying it's Russian spies. It's the Ruskies.
There was remember, in this world, a little while ago, there was a nuclear warhead detonated on American soil.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So maybe they're on high alert. Maybe they think it's another nuclear warhead.
Yeah, maybe it's a firestorm.
Maybe. It's a firestorm.
Paul, well, I mean, here's the thing. I think we still did our three things, because you managed to cover all of my three things.
Oh, my God.
In your one big thing, because I wanted to highlight that because I wanted to say something nice, that I actually thought the performances were well executed, but that they were dead on arrival. But great actors, bad script, bad story. I wanted to highlight the Dom punch, because I like the whole interaction of the like righteousness when he was just wrong the whole time, and. And finally, to end on a good note, I wanted to say that, like, I really, despite everything, when they said Caitlyn was hired, and they ran and they hugged, I had a warm feeling in my heart.
Okay, John, something else just came to me.
Oh, okay. I'm a little worried, because I didn't like the look on your face when I was talking about warm stuff.
Is a very serious thing.
All right, let's get serious.
We did see a lot of Evan in this episode. Like a lot.
The mechanic
of Evan. We saw straight down to his belly button.
I recognized him, I feel like.
Well, no, he was in a prior episode.
I mean, like, yeah, but I think he was in some other TV shows in the 80s. If we
like Magic Mike 80s or something, or what?
One can only hope. I mean,
where was his shirt? Where was it?
Listen, mechanics don't wear shirts. It's a well-known fact,
Really?
Yeah, we're lucky he didn't have it buttoned down further. My understanding is they go commando. Do you think maybe it occurred to me while I was watching the episode that like maybe they were trying to set him up as a like next Hawk in case like Jan Michael Scott like kind of, because I know he was becoming problematic. Jan Michael Vincent. Why do I always mess up his name?
It's Gene Bruce Scott.
Gene Bruce Scott and Jan Michael Vincent.
You're spoonerizing.
Spoonerizing? You're
spoonerisming the two names.
Okay. Well, we unspoonered it. Thank you. So.
Yeah. So. Maybe they're like, we need a contingency plan unless You notice my glasses, John? By the way, you see my glasses?
They look nice.
They're pretty heavy.
Are they getting thicker?
They're really thick. My prescription, let's say, for contact lens is -9.5.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Like, people will be like, oh, I got terrible eyesight. My vision is a -4. I'll be like, see, one thing that people with glasses do is they do cock measuring contests about the prescription of their lenses, And fucking Stringfellow's lenses, boy, those look like some heavy duty Coke bottles.
Okay, good to
Like
know.
this.
That's a
Yeah,
little
he
troubling,
looked.
actually.
You know, it's like the Millhouse effect, where Millhouse has, puts the glass has his
Yeah.
tiny little eyes. Like notice how you could really see like the sides of my head, like my eyes, everything is shrunk when I put my glasses on.
Hmm.
Same thing with Stringfellow. So he's wearing contacts. Where am I going with this? Anyway, he's wearing his eyeglasses in some scenes. He's not wearing his
Yeah.
eyeglasses. We noticed his eyeglasses last episode. I did. There was a scene where he was driving the Jeep with his glasses on.
Okay.
And to me, it's like, um, I almost wondered if, like, this is like the first, like, evidence of, like, the wheels falling off the wagon for
Mm.
Jan Michael Vincent. Like, he's showing up to set, and he's like, my eyes hurt. I don't want to put my contacts in. He's like putting his glasses on,
Yeah.
and they're like shooting some scenes with the glasses on.
Mm.
I wonder about it because like one of the things that Air Force pilots have to have, John,
It's 2020, right?
they have to have really good eyesight.
Yeah. Mm.
You can't be flying around and your contact lens,
Falls out. Yeah,
shifts
that
so
would be
your glasses
problematic.
fall off your face. So it's like, would they really, like from a character's perspective,
Yeah.
want
And
him to be wearing his eyeglasses on set? It just
it's interesting. It's interesting.
flexes me.
I dig your sweater, man. I gotta say something about it.
I'm boggled by it.
Getting that Stuyvesant. Yeah.
This is like in perfect condition,
It looks beautiful.
and I think it was my dad's, and he had
Mm.
it in the closet and it was never worn. So
Okay.
he like, I think this is yours, and he gave it to me. I was like, it's definitely not
Sure.
mine.
But I'll wear it, so give it to me. Yeah.
I'll rock it. I'll take it out for a spin.
Yeah.
I think there were a ton of issues here. There was some excitement, there was some fun, but uh, it was really hard for me to get past some of the
Yeah.
glaring issues with this one. So, this one kind of goes into the bucket of episodes that you could skip in terms of the story of
Yeah.
Rewolf.
I might suggest skipping the one with the fictional African nations. Um. This one.
But that one at least had
A,
like
a rational story. Like the problem
like
was in execution.
there was kind of like a moral to that story.
Yeah, there was a point. There was a point.
Like in this one, you don't. There's no dramatic action.
No,
Like
they. Yeah.
there's nothing that Airwolf guys, String and Dom, really do that propel some kind of like resolution to like a question.
Yeah. No, it's tough.
The whole episode was just one long drawn out reveal that this girl is mentally ill and actually the cause of her own problems.
Yeah, I
So
mean, if
let's send her off to the loony bin.
it's more interesting if Caitlin and if Caitlin and Holly are the same character, I think you can tell a more interesting story. Like, if everything if she's the person who shows up and wants a job, it couldn't be Caitlin because you want to keep her, but like,
Right.
at least then, because they ended up having to separate out into two different characters so they could have like a happy character and like a sad character that we send off to the loony bin. You know what I mean? So it's like, because the Caitlin and all of the things that happen between Caitlin and Holly are like completely the creation of Holly in her own head. Like she invents their rivalry, right? Like, and so it's just, yeah, I don't know. We're just one more time. We're going to cut all this out because it's just one more point that this is all just not well written. And
but I'll just leave this as a thought to dwell on until our next episode. Caitlin fucking necks with Stringfellow in front of the camera. And then Stringfellow takes Holly up to his cabin, and he wines her and he dines her, and they start to make out, and he has a little bit of an episode. But then she comes back and she's like, "I made love to String."
She very much does. And he wants to marry me, but I have to
And
go.
he wants to marry me, but it's not going to work out. So I would argue that Stringfellow does, in fact, sleep with Holly at the cabin. Or else why would he have done all that? I think that he has a crisis of conscience in the moment, but then he decides to hook up with her anyway. And she tells Caitlin a partial truth.
Okay. I disagree vehemently. But that's
all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that. Alright, folks. That's it from Airwolf to Rewolf. Let's hope the next one's better. Have a great day.
GN.